Hi everyone. Well, in this video, I will be talking to you about the castrated desire and its connection to the original sin. This actually would be the part two, as the first part I recorded it about a year ago while I was in Egypt. And yeah, the connection about in between the original sin and the castrated desire would mainly be or mainly is, as how I perceive it. Let's suppose that I'm quite sure that all of us know what the original sin is. Whether if you're Catholic, Christian, neither of them, religious, not religious at all. It was a belief that was quite well anchored in our belief systems, socially wise, politically wise, of course, religiously wise. And why? Because that guilt of being our full potential would always be present and would be castrated in order to be part of something. If you want to be part of the family, then you shall forget who you are because that's not in resonance who the family is. So it's easier and it's more loving and caring if you participate from the family rituals in order to be a good son or daughter. Rings a bell? Wow. Otherwise, you will be exiled of the paradise, which would in this case represent the party, the integration party, the integrative party, being part of something. So it was always this longing of trying to be part of a group, of a place, of an event. And this is quite related to the original sin. Why? Because as we most of you, I'm quite sure, know, Adam and Eve, or Adam and Eve were exiled. Why? Well, I'm not going with their in the novel part of the apple because this is all encoded information. Like somehow it's literal and somehow it goes beyond the literalism. Because, for instance, the apple is the torus, the expression. And of course, let's say that this I will mention because it's very important and it's connected to the video. What if the snake, as the wisdom keeper or the knowledge keeper, is an expression of Eve, of the feminine, of the divine feminine? Moreover, beyond a gender, let's say connected to the divine feminine. And because it's the creative motion pattern, it's the pattern of the pattern of the energy, the waves. So, and many more things. So what if the serpent was truly meaning that part of Eve that was casted away, that was exiled? And that as the divine masculine connected with that part, both were doomed and exiled. So how can this activate or could have activated in most of the humanity, except for the new generations that are no longer connected so tight to that program because of all the upgrades that are happening at this moment. And that's another topic that I will be covering in another video. Yet when it comes to most of the humanity present at this moment in planet Earth and before, then let's say that even you weren't baptized, or whether if you were baptized at some point, it's the same because the moment that you are in your mother's womb, in this paradise, in this this plasmic paradise, connected to the source, to the cosmos, going from portals, coming, going, getting all the information that you will be inhabiting and embodying at some point when you are given birth to. So the moment that you are about to burn, then exiting through your mother's womb, doing your best to survive, exiting from that paradise, but it's like pushing, it's like no way you can stay longer, otherwise you will die. So two things activate. The first thing is the survival instinct, which relates to specific parts of the brain connected to the amygdaloid body, which um, I wouldn't say it's connected to the reptilian body, because the reptilian brain, because that's another part. The reptilian brain would be mostly about the cerebellum, yet it's connected to some parts like the amygdaloid body. But the amygdaloid body is more connected to the other like to the neurocortex and to the ventrum striatum. I was trying not to, that's why I was like, was trying not to say like too many technical words, but in the end, it's just they're just names. So the ventral striatum is the part that connects mostly with the consciousness, to say it somehow, because all the brain is connected to the consciousness. Yet, when we are talking about the parts in the brain that are more complex and more evolved, then the ventral striatum would be like the other side of the survival instinct. It would be the one that connects with higher frequencies, and the amygdaloid body, the one that connects with the lowest frequencies. Let's say like the adrenaline, which keeps you here, like in this state of alert. So that activates. And another thing that activates is the idea of the exile, that program that you have been exiled of paradise. So you're exiting in this survival mode through your mom's channel, birth channel, and then you arrive to Earth. And the conditions, I mean, now there are more pleasant. That's why it's not activated anymore as well, because the conditions of how babies are brought into life are more, let's say, more stabilized and aligned to the 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 atmosphere, the womb's atmosphere, like the babies that are given birth to when they are in a jacuzzi or in a water atmosphere. So anyway, for the ones for the ones that wasn't that way, well, it was a little bit different. So it was quite a shock and a difference of realities. I'm not saying it was good, it was bad, it was just different, quite different. So bringing that to like come to this life, come to this reality in such an overwhelming form, then it activates a lot of that survival instinct. So those two are the ones that are connecting inherently to the original sin, that are obviously enhanced as we grow up, and those programs are fortified through the belief systems. Now, of course, this can be easily transcended. And I say easily because it was very easy as how it was anchored. So the way it's also very easy. Um, yeah, like I will share in other videos how I have designed some methods in order to disable this from the unconsciousness, from the unconscious, and enabling another form of reality to connect with other memories. that are already there and that are more nutritious and more equivalent to love and to an organic form of coming alive into this reality. So then when that happens, not this thing that I was talking about, the other thing, you know, like all this shocking experience where you are invited, like gently invited to survive. And it's a choice, of course. That's why, well, it's not that why we are here. Yet we chose to be here. And overall, it's such a beautiful experience. Blessed for that. So that original sin program is the basic program of the AM, the artificial matrix. And then it evolves. It evolves and camouflages into different forms based on one fundamental aspect: longing, trying to go back to. And trying to go back to that is acceptance, trying to be accepted. And this comes trying to be accepted in a specific groups, in a specific institutions, at a specific events, trying to be part of, trying to be a member of. And it's connected to that exile. Because how many times have you felt that you would do anything just to don't feel alone? That was a huge program that was influencing humanity for centuries until now. Because more and more we can see that new generations don't care anymore about belonging to a group, whether to belong a group, if they have a choice, if they assume and are aware of a choice in between belonging to a group or being free and loving oneself. Well, being free and loving oneself is what we choose, in contrast to what was before. So that program is weakening because it fulfilled its cycle. So now what's the deal with the castrated desire? Well, the castrated desire is, we can see it present in many storytellings and many mythos. For instance, now that we're doing the trip to Egypt, when we talk about Isis and Osiris being castrated, like dismembered in 14 pieces by Set, which is the program, like mindset. And I mean, I'm just mentioning something because this topic is quite extensive and we will be covering it or uncovering it throughout our trip to Egypt. And so the program dismantled in 14 pieces, dismembered in 14 pieces, the primordial seed, the interstellar seed, which is represented by Osiris. So the power of bringing life through the phallus, the power, because this is one of the most human-like forms to connect with a representation of power. I'm not saying that the phallus is power. No, I'm just saying how it was commonly related and that into some extent it is even a very deep code related to genetics, to the chromosome X turning to chromosome Y. This, I will also be talking about this in our trip to Asia because it shows even in the hieroglyphs. So when Isis, the primordial feminine, Osiris being the primordial masculine, comes and brings that golden phallus to Osiris, then let's say that as The artificial matrix was created for the primordial matrix to regenerate. This golden phallus was also given for as long as it's needed for the primordial phallus to regenerate. What does this mean? Chromosomic wise, the double X, the Christic consciousness. And socially wise, emotionally wise, or that disruptor that was created through a specific encoding and configuration in the 8M through the artificial matrix 8M through the original sin, all that distorted disruptor that was created in between man and female to be transcended and generate that unity. So that moment is now. And castrated desire is every desire from the heart. Can the heart has desires? Well, why not? You can call it desire, you can call it wish, you can call it the most profound choice that you're up to create in your universe. It was since you were a little kid, since you were a child, before you were a child, before you came to this planet. And that's why we are here. Because we share one desire. We can have many desires, yet when it comes from the primordial, as like from the essence, we are talking about perhaps the desire to be the most evolved expression of ourselves. And when we are the most evolved expression of ourselves, we don't feel the need to go back anywhere, to go back home, because we know that we are home. And that being home here will inherently lead us to go home elsewhere, to be at the right place and space, time, aligned to the universe. Have you ever wondered why we became amnesic? Why we forgot everything? We can hear about many theories or many beliefs, many forms of perception that this amnesia started as an agreement to come to embody humanity and then remember everything, because in order to remember something, it needs to be forgotten first. And so Osiris code and Isis code is quite connected to the Gen Isis, to the Genesis, to the reason why we are here. Because remembering us is embodying our full potential, our 14 pieces into 15. Yeah, related to the other, to the harmonious side of the zodiac, not as a seal, yet as a wheel, which is very different. The zodiac seal to the zodiac wheel. I call it the zodiac seal, the 12 zodiac signs, and the zodiac wheel, the 15 zodiac signs, which includes Ophiuchus, Cetus, and Orion. I talk in other videos as well if you want to listen more about this, because it's all encoded in the Dendera space-time table, or the Dendera zodiac, or the Dendera wheel, if you may. And then when we remember when we are, then all this amnesia is transcended. Yet there is something else about this amnesia. For instance, if nowadays someone is embodying amnesia, I mean, like your one grandmother or someone who had an accident and hit his head and then went amnesic. When we decode this, like biologically decode this, you will normally listen that this is related to wanting to forget something. You don't want to remember something, then you go amnesic. Like you went through something very tough in your life, then you go amnesic because you don't want to remember. Well, now if we go to a higher scale and give the same formula to this amnesia, to this collective amnesia, what would we possibly want to forget? Why? Okay, because it was a mission and a purpose and an agreement in order to remember. Okay, that's fine. Another thing, why would you possibly want to forget your greatness? If we come here to experience, that's completely connected to now this point that I'm telling you. If you resonate with this, of course, which is we are energy generators, right? We are Taurus, constantly, infinitely pulsing, emanating energy. So we have a lot of power. Our desire of being our greatness makes our Taurus even more powerful, right? So what happens when we forgot this desire of being our most evolved potential, our highest potential? Well, that Taurus diminished, and so the heart. It decreased its potency. So when we remember what's our desire, it starts to expand and expand and expand and expand and expand, restoring all the way. And then the energy that was feeding something, imagine millions and millions of souls nourishing in a specific egregor full of desire, feeding perhaps the same egregor that sustains the original sin. What if we take our energy, our desire to our heart and start acting in coherence to that? Then the castrated desire is not anymore castrated and the power is within. And then our feminine and our masculine found the 14 pieces to be the 15, because we can even see the 15 in the known Metatrons cube, which is also on the tetrahedron star, which has 15 spheres interconnected as the matter. The other ones are the void. I will show this in another video. And also, mostly, I will be talking about this throughout our trip to Egypt. So, having said this, thank you for watching this video, part 2. Much more to share. So grateful and so honored. So hopefully I will see you in Egypt. Sean and I are very happy to host you and to welcome you to our trip. Superhuman love. Humanity upgrade to superhuman love. And we say our trip because it's our, also yours, if you choose to, of course. So having said this, thank you for watching this video. Uno.